Folks, again, I'm going to tread very lightly with this right here, which means I'm probably not. I'm going to piss somebody off anyway. I'm doing my best to try not to because it's a very sensitive subject, but I'm going to try my best not to piss anybody off, but it's really hard to get into here and talk about this subject without pissing off somebody. So,
We would just ask, or at least you can correct me if this is overstepping, but we would just ask that the chat stays respectful and doesn't cross any lines, because I've been seeing things out there all over the internet where people are making claims of this and that, and it's like, you don't need to go that far.
Yeah. I fancy myself a fair person, but when you get into this conversation we're about to have, a lot of times there's no fairness to be had. People want you to take sides either way. So that is why I'm telling people right now, if you find this whole this controversy about Melissa Barrera, who is the actress who just got fired from Screen 7 because of her comments about Israel and Palestine. If you get triggered one way or another, then I'm telling you right now, I ask you politely to maybe not stick around. For those who don't know, this actress, Melissa Barrera, she was fired from Scream 7 because of her comments about the conflict with Palestine and Israel, which that conflict has been going on for a long time. The reason why she was fired is because her comments were seen as anti-Semitic. And you can go find the comments if you want. One of the things that really upset the studio is she said that what was happening there against the Palestinians was genocide. But she also made statements saying that she doesn't believe, she finds anti-Semitism disgraceful and disgusting. She believes in equalness for all people. She was just saying that was her opinion and the way she saw it, what was happening right there.
At the end of the day, she came across like she was like, come on, peace and love.
That's what it was really she was saying. But she also said, as a woman who, because of something with her background, she had feelings towards, what was going on here, especially with the Palestinians, and something that she felt was kind of wrong, especially given the history of the conflict. All right, now, let me just say this, without getting into the comments too much, because we've all seen it. It'll be a long time to read those too. Were her comments controversial, especially saying genocide and whatnot? Sure, okay, yeah. Is it debatable? Certainly, as a lot of things are. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this is where I might piss off some people. Anti-Semitic, I didn't see it. Yeah. And you're Jewish, so you tell me. Maybe it's not for me to say.
I mean, I'd have to see the exact verbiage. I've heard people saying worse. I'll say that. Like, I think it was Susan Sarandon who said something where she was like, the Jews, now they're getting a taste of their own medicine or something like that.
You come out with, anytime you start something with the Jews, it's probably not going to be followed by anything good. I don't have a side here, and I know people want me to pick one because there are horrible things that have been done. I do not condone kidnapping. I do not condone violence, especially violence against children. And I do not condone terrorism or anything like that, what do you want to call it. And that's some of the labels that have been slapped on some of the things that have been happening here, any kind of atrocities and whatnot. I hate anti-Semitism, and as they say, in any form.
I'm not a fan either.
Yes. I mean, unless you get some real good anti-Semitism. Like sometimes racism is just so good. I was like, damn, I'll give you that one.
They season it just right.
Yeah, man. Some of that good old-fashioned racism.
They put just enough K's in there.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Sometimes people hate so much that they kind of get clever with it. Sometimes I can excuse racism if you're clever with it,
I guess, yeah, if you want to put it that way.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
There's just been ways that people have been labeling either side where it's like, that's a blank statement, and you can't do that.
Listen, y'all, I hate anti-Semitism. I hate what's happened to Palestine. And this conflict has gone on for so long that like you said, none of this is black and white. And as far as I'm concerned, it's been, and I said this before, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, and it's going to piss everybody off. I said, if I'm going to piss somebody off, I'm gonna piss off everybody. I'm not taking sides either. I'm pissing off everyone. I believe this conflict that's been going on for years and years, centuries almost.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think it's fucking stupid. Okay, because some people have. First of all, there's people who are in power, who are stirring shit up.
Yeah.
Whenever you have people who are like for centuries just putting people in turmoil and their lives at stake, you know, and it's just in just creating misery for everybody, it's fucking dumb, man. So you know what I'm saying here is like I'm not taking any sides. To me, it's just it's gray, it's murky. There's a lot of people who are causing trouble over there, and there are really good, decent people who don't want to deal with any of this.
And for the record, I'm right there with you. Even though I have people who I know in Israel and who I love, and I've been there, I stand back from this, and I don't say that anyone is more right than the other.
Yeah, you know, when I say I don't take sides, it's not like that when it comes to business. You know, with what happened to this girl right here, the studios are more worried about pissing off people who are pro-Israel because they perceive that there's more support for that here in the States. You know, I'm just telling you right now. Let's talk about it. You know, if you have Jews, you have Muslims, who's looked down more here in the States? You know, it's the Muslims.
Yeah.
You know, and so this, if you ask me, this studio is looking at this and they don't want to piss off anybody. So what did they do? You know, they fired her because, you know, they what they want to do is they want to come in and just kind of take care of this ahead of time before as they perceive things got too far.
Do you think the timing of this, like now I'm thinking about it, it's like, man, those execs are like, look, I got to go out of town to my wife's parents' house for Thanksgiving. Let's deal with this now. And now they're dealing with the fallout as a family.
I don't know if that's what's happening here. I think what's happening here with her, I think, is that they're just covering their ass to make sure that, you know, just in case people get riled up and people get upset. Again, do they really care about the ethics of this? Probably. But do they care about their money more?
Yes.
Definitely. And they don't want this production. They don't want to lose money. They don't want this studio to lose money. They don't want a bad reputation that will cut into their profits on this. They're trying to, you know, what they're doing here is damage control before anything hits. And I will say this, when you're in entertainment and you get political, you always run the risk of heavy scrutiny from not just definitely from the public, but also from, you know, the studios. And because you're such a public figure, your words are heard more than the average person, and you represent the project that you're in, whether you want to or not. She is the face of Scream right now.
Yeah, she and her sister, Jenna Ortega, they were literally driving this franchise right now, and it's reaching new heights. Yeah, Scream 6 was extremely successful.
They took, you know, as the new leads, they were really taking this to some interesting places.
I was excited for this 7th movie.
Yeah, but so I'm realistic. I get sometimes studios being very nervous about what their talent is saying because it does have a reflection on them. And, you know, and you do have to do spin control and damage control. I get that. I'm not naive.
Especially with a series like Scream that's meta, it's like, Jesus, how do we comment on this?
But I think that the studios overstepped here, and I think they did because I think that accusing her of being anti-Semitic, I think they went a little far. And like I said, just covering their ass right now. You know, they're doing the same thing that Disney did with James Gunn, man. Mm-hmm. You know, they got nervous because he pissed off some people, and they just said, well, let's just fire this guy because, you know, we don't want him like damaging our brand.
Oh, we're Disney. We don't associate with people who file jokes.
Yeah, you know, and I even with James Gunn, I didn't like the jokes. I thought they were stupid. I thought they were childish. They were lame.
But he was working for Troma at the time, though, which is known for crass and just garbage, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, but to dig up something, you know, that a guy said that was from years ago. The guy's probably, a different person now.
He's matured a lot.
To equate him with actual, pedophiles and say, well, you're just like them. You got to go. That was crazy to me. And that's the thing here to take her comments and try to equate it to something that's probably not and fire her for that just because you want to protect the brand. And that's the thing, and I believe with the studios. I don't believe there's any kind of moral footing here for them or any kind of moral feelings. They're just kind of like, they'll put something out saying, we do not believe in anti-Semitism. I'm sure they don't, but really, come on, man. It's, that thing is money. Yeah, let's not fool ourselves. But so I think it was I don't think it was right to really fire her like that. And I think a lot of people are feeling like that, including maybe her co-stars. So we were just talking about Scream 7, Jenna Ortega. Something that has that's new, that's played out in the situation. She has left the film,
claiming that it was a conflict with her schedule working on the next season of Wednesday, but I don't buy that.
No, she's talking about it's because of Wednesday was the hit Netflix show that she's on. So you mean to tell me that all of a sudden that's bullshit? And I'm not saying she's wrong for it. Stand by your girl if you believe in her, man. Especially in this particular situation. But come on, you you expect us to believe that you've been working on this movie or been attached to it all this time, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, that's right, I got this Netflix show to work on. Sorry, y'all. Right after this situation happened with your co-star, I'm not buying that at all. I call bullshit on it, man. She doesn't want to risk, getting herself in trouble too, which I don't blame her. So she's not going to say it's because I stand with her. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should come out and say it. If you're going to do this, let's just say, I don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. I cannot say 100% that she left the project because she's working on Wednesday, and so she couldn't work on Scream 7. But I do believe, like, in a way, maybe, if you're leaving because of your girl, say it a little bit, insinuate a little bit. But again, people have to protect themselves, and she doesn't want to say so because if she stands with her, then somebody might try to fire her next. I don't know.
People have been insinuating that she left for the reasons that you're saying, but the way that they're promoting it is like, oh, can't do it, unfortunately, have to do Wednesday. And it's like, I agree with you. I don't buy that this spin-off of the Addams Family, someone no one gives a shit about right now, is more important than...
Actually, people really love the Wednesday.
Fair enough, yeah, but like the Addams Family, I'm saying, is not like as big a franchise as Scream is. That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
Like, I think Scream takes a lot more precedent. At least it did over the Addams Family spinoff.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not buying it. I understand. I wish she could, say that she's doing this in solidarity with her girl if that's the case. I understand if she can't. But I'll say this. Switching from all the political talk that's going on here and, and everything that's going on with Israel and Palestine, switching gears here and just talking about the franchise itself. So if you're taking, you lost not one, but two big leads in the movie.
The main characters.
Your main characters. They were sisters in the movie, man. You take these two out of the film. I mean, and first of all, how are you going to explain it? Did they die in a plane crash or something, or a car crash? I mean, they could.
Yeah.
It'll be weird, but now what you're doing is they're talking about bringing back Neve Campbell.
Yeah.
Who wasn't in Scream 6 because I guess she felt like she wasn't paid enough.
Yeah, she was mentioned, but yeah, she did not show up. And the franchise has shifted its focus to not be about Neve Campbell. It's shifted to these new characters who are in the middle of an arc.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. They have, their stories are just starting to progress.
Yeah. And they could have gone in some really interesting directions.
Well, and they're talking about bringing Patrick Dempsey back too as a sheriff, who was just a sheriff in Thanksgiving. The problem with this for me, and this is just me, some people are fine with this. I don't like when movies do one particular thing, and that's when you have a character who's become, pretty much iconic of a franchise or a series, where they are coming back again and again and again to repeat the same situation. Which gets, the more they come back and repeat that same situation, the more ridiculous it gets. It happens with a lot of women. Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, who showed up again and again and again, the same goddamn alien situation. Or Laurie Strode, played by what's her name?
God damn it, I forgot her name.
Damn, how can I forget her name, man? Exactly.
Someone will say it in
Jamie
the
Lee
chat.
Curtis.
Yeah.
But Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode coming back again and again and again. The same situation with Michael Myers, which if there was a story to justify that every time, that's fine. But no, they had to, the studio's repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
The same exact formula because they know that's what they want to see. And it's become branded by these main stars, these leading characters or these leading actresses. Some people are fine with that. I hate that, man, because again, it gets repetitive to the point where it's not even convincing anymore.
Yeah, and the Scream 5 evolved past it. And because these movies make commentary on horror movies, them doing that, man, they got to find a really good angle. I wanted to ask you, but I don't want to, jump ahead, but what would you like to see them do? Because there's a lot of options here. Like, personally, like, say, you want to put your head down and just make the movie, I'd say do the Don Cheadle thing. Just recast them and try to ignore it, but it's impossible. The series is forever tainted from this. Even if they end up bringing them back, it's still going to be like, yeah, but that one time, it's scarred.
Maybe if it was one person, I'd say recast, but two people?
I still think that recasting, because otherwise they have to rewrite a new script.
Yeah.
And abandon everything that was set up.
That's going to, okay, I'm just going to say could work. No, it could work because we don't know. I would say it would bother me, though, because you have two different people that you recast now, and that's just jarring to me, man.
Like I said, it's tainted.
Christopher Landon, somebody said, Mr. Yasmin, Christopher Landon, director of Happy Death Day and Freaky, is directing the film, and he commented that he's not happy with the firing.
Yeah.
So I
bet.
Okay, so looking at this, man, if they want to go this route, and maybe they've already done it, I think one of the advantages they have here is that it is Scream, and they can make commentary on what I just said about bringing back these characters in the same situation over and over again. If they bring back Neve Campbell, they can make a commentary on that. Like, how do I find myself in this situation over and over again? They could probably do that.
How much steam can you get out of that, though?
One movie.
Yeah, exactly. And someone pointed this out. It's almost like every time they get to the third movie, I know it's the seventh, but like as far as like this story goes, 7 would have been the third movie in this trilogy. Scream somehow seems to fuck up because Scream 3 is the worst one of all of them.
Or they could do, they could come in and be like, make a joke about Neve Campbell could come in and be like, weren't there the 2 other chicks that were in this situation? Where'd they go? They could make a joke about these 2 girls just like disappearing with no explanation. I mean, being that it's Scream, the self-referencing and self-awareness of the franchise could be a benefit for them.
Yeah.
If they really want to make that happen. However, so we have a director who's not happy, you have a co-star who's not happy, that's the way we think. I could see this being such a big deal that I could see them pulling a Disney, and like they brought back James Gunn. I think they're gonna bring this girl back.
I think they'll bring them both back. At least I hope so. But again, I think that the movie is scarred, and it sucks because it's associated now with one of the most serious things on the planet, and it's you can't get away from that now.
Well,
tainted.
If they bring her back, Melissa Barrera, if they bring her back, then and they get everybody back. Let's just say they get her back, and then Jenna Ortega says, "All right, I'm back in too."
I found some time in my schedule.
Yeah. Oh, I worked it out with Netflix. They said I'm good. What will happen here, I think, is that they'll probably bring her in and say, "Listen, all right, just cool it. All right, just back off a little bit. Let's make an agreement. We'll bring you back, and we'll pay you a little bit more. You're in, and whatever else you need. And for us, just be quiet a little bit, and maybe you could say this or that, but just kind of lay heavy on the genocide and all that kind of stuff." They'll negotiate something with her, and they'll bring her back in. And once they do that, it's positive marketing for the movie again. All right, y'all, we made a mistake. Scream 7's back on. Everybody knows about this movie now. Yeah. All of a sudden, controversy is good for marketing. All of a sudden, there's more anticipation for it because everybody wants to see, this girl. They're happy for her now and everything. So if they bring her back, this could be a positive for everyone.
You say that, but something I've noticed, like across my film nerd Facebook feed, everyone's like, "Well, I guess fuck Scream now. I don't care about this franchise, and I'm not going to support this next movie." I think that it's turned people on it.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. If they bring up right now, yeah, people are definitely turned on it. Somebody in the chat made a good point. They'll probably treat it like Letitia Wright, who was saying a bunch of crazy shit during Black Panther 2.
That's right. She was an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, and I think the studio said, you know what, could you just kindly shut the fuck up? And if you notice, after a while, we weren't hearing that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not, again, I don't believe in gagging actors and actresses, man, but, sometimes you got to work with the studios a certain way. And since you are representing their product, I don't want to see them censored. It's a really tricky area that I'm talking about. But, sometimes you got to play the game a little bit. And if she does, she said what she had to say. She put it out there. People know how she feels. She doesn't have to recant. All she has to do now is just say, all right, I'll cool it. We'll make the movie and we'll, move on. And everybody come see that movie after that. So I'm thinking that's what'll happen. Because right now you were right. There's very negative perception of what's going on. And with people, but here, let me ask you this. I always, with so much being said about this, would people still see the movie more out of curiosity now to see what happens?
I think it depends on how that first trailer hits. Are they going to rewrite the whole story? Like, them taking those two characters out of the equation, that fucks everything up. That is literally what the whole movie was going to be about.
But we have short-term memory, man. No, seriously. Well, like if they change this and the movie's fun and it's good, people might be a little upset that they didn't continue. But if the movie, if they happen to do something with it that is remotely okay, then we'll be all right with it.
They got to be really clever, and I'm talking extremely like something I couldn't never even think of.
Yeah,
like they really got to blow our minds because that last movie. It's one of my favorite movies, this year. Like, I thought it was really clever. I like Scream 6 a lot.
Wow. Some people said they are looking at this this firing so bad that somebody said, I don't know if this is true, but somebody in the chat, this is very interesting if that's the case. So someone said that there's another horror movie out there that is released by Spyglass.
Mm-hmm.
And people are kind of boycotting this movie a little bit, which is sad because, the filmmakers here had nothing to do with this situation.
No, of course not.
I think this is wrong. So people are boycotting Thanksgiving.
Don't see this movie.
Don't watch this film yet.
What are you in line for?
I think this is kind of wrong because Spyglass released this, and Spyglass is the one that did the firing of Melissa Barrera.
So people, because of this firing, are now boycotting Thanksgiving?
Yeah, because this came out. I mean, this is released by Spyglass.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what you think about this movie, the filmmakers had nothing to do with the firing. So I don't think you should punish this movie based on that, man. But this is how far-reaching the fallout is.
Damn.
Because now they're even looking at Spyglass as a bad guy. They're just boycotting their movies now. Which is funny because, there's a lot of other way more important shit y'all should be boycotting. But whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever, man.
It's very reactionary. But I hadn't heard that people were boycotting Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Either way it goes, if you ask me, and this is kind of sad, I know a lot of people might disagree with me.
It sucks.
No, it sucks. But I'm going to say this. I think as unfortunate as this may be, or some people might see it as, I still think it's going to work to the advantage of Scream. Because I think that even with negative press, it's still marketing.
You say that. I guess I'm going to disagree. I don't see any positives coming from this. None. Because all I see is that they had because the fifth one was all right, but this sixth one I thought was really awesome, and it was seeming to set up something great. And it seemed like they really had it all mapped out, and someone just ripped off that last part of the map, and that sucks.
Yeah, it does, but I'm looking at the business aspect of it. And the business aspect is sometimes any news is good news, even if it's negative.
So you think that a lot of those people who are like, I'm not interested in this franchise anymore, you think they're full of shit?
Think about how many times that's been said about something,
I know,
and they
but
still went to see it.
this is now connecting itself to like something extremely political and something people are very, very split on.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's good points to be made on both sides. So Spyglass, the movie was released by Sony, but it was the studio that did it was Spyglass. The production company that did was Spyglass. Again, I still don't think that the filmmakers should have to suffer. You know what some other movie has, or what the actions of what a studio has done. Anyway, we'll see.
Don't rip the paintbrushes out of these artists' hands.
Yeah.